Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Racing Show here at RacePlazaMedia. My name is Milan.
My name is Pia.
And today we're going to talk about the MotoGP race weekend. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Play the intro. All right. So, per usual, there was a sprint race and a regular main event for MotoGP. I did not get to watch the sprint race because I was at work working hard. That's what I do. However, you were able to watch it.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, I guess you weren't working.
I wasn't. No. So yeah, I got to watch it. This weekend. It happened in Mugello, Italy. So the time difference was perfect for me. So I got up in the morning, and then whenever I felt like it, I started watching the race. I avoided social media, of course, to not get spoilers. I did hear a spoiler, though.
Oh,
going
you did?
into it, yeah. But it still intrigued me. So that's why I was like, okay, I definitely want to watch it.
Did you hear the race results spoiled, or what did you hear spoiled?
Yeah, I heard two of the main things that happened, essentially, spoiled.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was a sprint race on Saturday. It was around, I think it was 11 laps. Of course, going into it, Pecco was one of the favorites because it's his home race. He already won the last 2 years there. So, I mean, what a beautiful feeling it must be to win at home. So, I mean, going into it, I was definitely rooting for him as well. And he had a great sprint race. I mean, he had a beautiful sprint race. He was fighting with Jorge Martin for quite a minute. However, Jorge Martin, and this was one of the big things that I heard, ended up crashing out.
Oh, okay. Did you? So what happened?
So he was going just a little bit, I guess, too deep in one of the corners, and he just like...
He lost the bike?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably lost the grip.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
yeah. I think it was fairly close, like I would say at least 3/4 through the race. So he had a big fight with... Pecco. They were going back and forth and stuff, so it was really cool to see it. And of course, my guy Marc Marquez made it through the crowds as well. And then so the final results was Pecco won his sprint race, the first sprint race for him this season that he has won, because he's been doing okay during the sprint races. So he won his first sprint race. Then Marc Marquez came in second, and then also, which I'm super excited about, is Pedro Acosta came in third. I was watching him because I was nervous since he had crashed out the last couple of races. I was hoping he would do better, but I feel like it's always nerve-wracking to watching him because you never know when they can just like fall and then go off. It could happen at any second.
Do you know the tire compound that they were using? Was it just soft for the sprint?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think so. I thought it was medium soft.
Okay, so the same as the main event.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong though.
Okay.
But it was a fun sprint race, and I like that they're bite-sized. They're like less than 20 minutes long. But still there was excitement that happened, and it was a nice way to also get familiar with the track since I wasn't familiar with the track. Yeah. I know you have been because you've raced on the track.
On the sim. Yeah. So I was familiar with Mugello.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, so that's really cool. We had Cactus Tiger in the comments telling us how good the MotoGP sprint races are. So I guess that's true. I just didn't get a chance. And then when you had already watched it, I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch it by myself.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, and it was my second sprint race so far. And I like it because it is bite-sized, but there's still action happening. And the results can be very different from the main race, which I think is cool, which is not always the case in F1.
Yes, that is true. And I think especially last race weekend, we had, what is it? Esparago?
Oh, Esparago,
who won the sprint race.
Yeah.
And who was doing quite well for a while on the main race. And then he kind of ended up dropping back.
Yeah.
So it was cool that he at least got a W in there.
I agree. Yeah. And then today we watched the main event race, which I would have to say wasn't... There was a slum in the middle of the race.
So the beginning was absolutely amazing,
especially
as a Bagnaia supporter and fan. So he started in fourth, I believe.
Yeah, because he had gotten a grid penalty, and because of that, he had also called the stewards clowns, which apparently he's not somebody to really be vocal about criticism.
Interesting.
And the commentators were talking about it during the sprint race yesterday, because they were like, yeah, he was... It seemed like it was kind of a surprise that he had spoken out about it. One of the commentators said the grid penalty was rightfully given.
Do you know what the grid penalty was for?
I know. I knew you were going to ask me. And I'm trying to remember what it was right now. It was, I think it had something to do with a pass or something. And no, I don't want to say that because I could be wrong. Are you Googling it right now?
I hope you guys cannot hear the clicky keyboard. Peck. Oops. Pecco Bagnaia grid penalty, and then it pre-fills with F1.
Yeah.
While I look this up, maybe tell them about the start.
Oh, okay. So Pecco started on 4th, but then he had already this strategy that he wanted to go in through the outside, and it was very successfully and well planned and well executed.
So he would have started P1. He got a 3-place grid penalty. I just got that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But does it say why?
No, keep talking.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so essentially he started on 4th and he moved to the outside where everybody else was going further to the inside. And then in the second, I mean, it was just so smart that he kind of snuck his way through several of the riders, where I think the commentator was also saying he used the throttle differently than most of the other riders would during that section of the track. And then he ended up placing in front of Jorge Martin right from the beginning, essentially, and he stayed in the lead the whole entire race. And I feel like Jorge didn't really have a chance to like fight him much, really, because he was close for a period of time. It was like under half a second, but then there was no real contention. There was not a chance really where we were like, ooh, next corner he's gonna try.
Pecco really
he's great once he's in the front.
He really was good at setting the pace, exactly.
Which was also beautiful. At the end, they showed all the lap times, and it was almost the exact same lap time. Like I think the first 2 laps were 1:45.9, and then the rest of it were majority 90% of it was 1:46 point, and then maybe 3 or 4 was like the most. But I mean that's crazy that you're so exact at what you do.
It's true. And I do want to talk about, though, Harvard, the big I'm not saying the big winner, but like the big surprise.
Oh, of course. But did you find out anything?
Yeah.
Did you not want to bring it up first?
No, it was so essentially during Friday afternoon practice, he impeded Marc Marquez. He went deep in a corner and that compromised Marquez's lap, which I thought was interesting that it was practice. Or I don't know if they're saying practice in this article and it's qualifying. I don't know, because if it's practice, I'm like, that's a big penalty for impeding in a practice.
And then one of the commentators did say he thought the penalty was justified. So I don't know. What was he said impeded Marc Marquez or Alex Marquez? His brother?
It says Marquez. Sorry, I just assumed it was Marc Marquez. Marquez, which came up behind Bagnaia.
Oh, interesting, because there's a picture of
that's Alex. Oh, yeah, so that's true. So maybe it was Alex.
Yeah. Oh, here. Alex Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia almost collided in practice. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so sorry, guys. So I'm very bad at reporting. Next time you do it and I talk. I was like, that's because I saw the picture and I was like, why are they showing this guy? But I forgot that Alex is obviously on the grid as well.
Yes,
my bad. My apologies.
Yeah, but anyway, so Pecco had received the grid penalty, but that really didn't have any effect on his race. He had a beautiful start. He executed it the way he had planned it ahead of time, and he stayed in the front the whole time.
Towards the end, there was maybe around I would say maybe anywhere between 5 to 10 laps left. Jorge Martin did close up and it got a little close, and then all of a sudden the gap opened up again. So I don't know if, because based on the end result, maybe the Ducati had, or the way their Ducati was set up, they were able to maintain their tire better, because then we had the big surprise.
Yes.
Bastianini, who ended up coming second. He actually, for a long time, he was 4th and he was stuck behind Marc Marquez, and then they were kind of fighting. And I was like, for the long time, I was like, okay, he was closing in, but Marc was really, really well defending. And then at the end, I think it was second to last lap, he finally makes the pass on Marc Marquez. And then he out of all riders had the most amount of grip on his tires left. I don't know, maybe he purposely was driving consciously.
I don't know.
I have no idea. And then literally last lap, last corner.
He
already passed Marc Marquez, and then he passes Jorge Martin on the last corner, last opportunity.
On the inside, not even on the ideal racing line. He went on the inside of the corner.
Because Jorge Martin was in the had the racing line. Yes. And the thing about it is also, which is so crazy, is that there was like almost half a second gap between them. So he was much faster, but I was like, he would probably need another 2 laps. But he had more grip, and he was able to get on the inside, make the pass stick, and then just send it down the straight. And then he ended up coming second. So we had a Ducati and an Italian 1-2 in Italy, Mugello.
Yeah.
Which
was so beautiful.
Freaking
and
awesome.
I did like their blue livery that they were wearing this time. They didn't have it during the sprint, but they did have it during the main event race in homage going forward for the European Championship, because the Italian soccer team, they always wear the blues as well, and it looked nice.
Yes,
I did like it. I was surprised because I didn't recognize him at first,
because he didn't have that during the sprint race.
No, he didn't. He was wearing his regular red during the sprint race, so it was cool to see. I do also want to give a shout out to Morbidelli, because he did really well yesterday in the sprint. He came in 4th, and today he came in 6th, which I think was the best result this season for him. And it was the first time I've really got to see some of his racing, because he's been a little bit further back, unfortunately, but it's also a home race for him, so that's nice that he performed well at home. But then the pictures at the end, or the footage at the end, where Pecco is celebrating with his guitar, his Kiss themed celebrations, but then also, of course, Bastianini on the podium, and then
it just seemed magical.
I mean,
the whole crowd singing the anthem
and just cheering, and then also chanting his name. And I mean, he must have felt like such a rock star.
Yeah, like he literally rock star.
Yes,
you know,
that's what I mean.
Absolutely magical, and I would love to be there. To watch a race live. And then of course, like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, if I would be in Spain, I would prefer a Spanish driver to a rider to win, just for the atmosphere.
Yes.
But of course, being Pecco, also being the guy that I'm kind of rooting for, it's really, really awesome, and it just seemed like such a magical moment.
Yes, I agree.
And the fans, and I always like their. We talked about this earlier about their individual celebrations.
Yeah, because I had learned about it when I did the Valentino Rossi video, that he got famous for some of the celebrations that he had done, I guess. But now I seeing it that Marc Marquez also does it. I mean, he didn't win, but he just, I love that they go into like their audience.
Yes.
You know, to the fan section, or as close as they can, and celebrate with them, and like,
because you don't really get that in F1
No, there's
all.
very much a separation.
Yeah.
Especially between the regular folks. You know, so I love that they go in there, and then Pecco did this beautiful thing. He threw one of his gloves into the audience, but then gave the other glove to this child that was standing right by the fence, which was just so nice to see. But overall, I think the result very much helped the overall World Championship standing.
Absolutely.
So now Jorge is still leading, but he's not leading by quite as much anymore.
18 points now.
Which is a lot less, because I think last weekend he was leading by 40 points.
Yeah, so it helped that he obviously
crashed out last weekend.
Yeah, not that I want him to.
No.
But it helped definitely the championship, and then Marc Marquez is also only 36 points away from first, and then fourth is Bastianini in the championship ranking, which is really, really awesome.
Yeah,
it's cool to see how competitive it is. I will say, the beginning was interesting. The end was very interesting, but in between the race wasn't as interesting. It wasn't really a lot of action.
Yes.
I also wanted to quickly talk about Pedro Acosta. He had a decent race, but he was not able to. Originally he was fighting a little bit with Marc Marquez, but then he was not able to keep pace.
And there was quite a big of a gap at some point where between.
It was 5 seconds, so he ended up coming fifth, and Marc ended up coming fourth, and there was a 5-second gap between the two of them, about 5 seconds.
Which is quite a bit.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the KTM just wasn't that good on this track, because the top 4 are all on a Ducati.
Yeah.
I don't know. But who's the other person on the KTM is Binder, and he ended up coming 10th. So, I mean, it's good to see that he was able to, complete the race. He did not crash out.
Yes.
But it's also like he is the rookie. So I think he's doing really well. You know, it's like the expectation for him to come in and just run the show is just not an option.
No, of course not. But I like to see that he's been doing so well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has to now like be more consistent.
Exactly, that's really what it is.
I mean, that's the thing. That's rookie mistakes that you'll make, right?
And I mean, he's learning the bike.
He's learning,
and stuff.
exactly.
And I know next season he just got a contract with KTM, so he will be Binder's teammate next season.
Again?
Because right now he's gas.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah. So it's a little bit different.
Oh, okay. Because it just says the bike. It doesn't say the team. Yeah. Okay.
So he's going to be factory KTM, I believe, next season. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cactus Tiger.
But yeah, anyone really.
Yeah, anybody, of course. But I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, now they have, I think, a 3-weekend break.
Which kind of helps us because next weekend we have, or this upcoming weekend, on Sunday we have the Canada Grand Prix, which we will be live streaming because it's 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So it's a really nice time to watch.
Much more reasonable.
and then the following weekend we are doing our 24-hour live stream for Le Mans hangout. So if you're planning on watching it or watching some of it and you want someone to chat or hang out with, come join the chat.
Join us, yes. And we were trying to watch some of the 24-hour Nürburgring this weekend, but I don't know if you guys heard, but there was apparently like a
14-hour red flag because of fog.
That's crazy. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen for Le Mans. I hope Le Mans will be very exciting, just as it was last year.
I think maybe the difference is also, I mean, I don't know if this is true, right? But that, you know what? I don't know, maybe the starting time. I don't know if they started early in the morning. It was morning fog, but the fog lasted for 14 hours.
I
take everything back.
Yeah,
you know what?
It was just
I hope not.
Weird weather situation.
I will say, okay, this is going to sound terrible, but I did kind of like that in last year's Le Mans, we had a little bit of rain.
Yes.
Just because I think it really pushes the drivers, it has to push the teams to come up with different strategies. And the only thing is it was a little unfortunate that the rain was during the night because it's so dark. Obviously they don't really have a lot of street lighting and stuff like that. So it is very, very dark.
Yes, it's gonna be interesting. And then also we just talked about it in one of our videos that they're not gonna have the artificial tire warmers. So that might also cause some more difficulty getting adjusted on the track.
I just think it's also
cold tires.
Very interesting that they dropped this news like 2 or 3 weeks before.
No,
Le Mans.
I mean it was.
It has already been.
It's been banned. It was banned originally last season also, but then during the Spa race leading up to Le Mans last season, there was a lot of accidents in the Spa race. So they were like, "Oh no, we're gonna bring the tire warmers back."
To be fair, there was a pretty fucking terrible accident in a Spa again.
Yeah, but it was different, I guess, than last season. So this time they still have the tire warmer ban enacted.
Interesting.
So it's not going to have any artificial tire warmers. So it's going to be interesting going into the night.
I mean, the thing about these tire warmers is like, how bad are they for the environment? Because that's the argument that they're bringing, right?
Yeah.
It's bad for the environment, and I'm all about being environmentally conscious, right? But it's like, that's the thing.
That's where you wanna save money or save energy.
Yeah, I'm just like, how are these like connected to like a coal
line?
Yeah, or like a coal whatever.
Yeah, or you were saying that like maybe instead they can adjust, like add some solar panels to power those artificial tire warmers,
or some
to
type
supply energy to it.
Some type of like renewable energy. Not that it has to be solar, right?
No,
That's
of
just
course,
the first
but
thing
solar would
came to
be
my mind.
probably the most time saving or space efficient, I would say. Maybe
I have no idea, but it's like, it just, I don't know. I have to research it. It just seems, for me, it seems a very interesting thing to. But then again, I think this is maybe an overall FIA push.
Yeah.
Because they already brought this up also in F1.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, this is because I think Hamilton said that he doesn't think that's a good idea at all. And
no, it's not.
So I'm just curious what the thought process, or like I have to research them.
Yes.
Because that seems just an insane thing to be like, that's the thing that is gonna make us, I don't know, maybe they're connected to a coal. I don't know, maybe every time you heat a thing they have to burn down a forest. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, yes, they're all professional drivers, so they should be able to adjust to like a lower temperature tire and have to warm it up, and then all the teams will have the same issue, like will have to learn or adjust their strategies accordingly. But I mean, it's still,
but you do have amateurs in the car. That's the whole thing,
exactly.
right?
And it is the thing is also, like, some of the drivers were saying that this
amateurs for that level.
Yes, yeah.
I want to say it's not like me in the car or whatever.
No, of course. But then some of the drivers were also saying
I'd
because
look good in a corner.
that it's also the first time that they're driving at night at cold temperatures, so they don't know the effect or the potential like impact it will have on their driving experience. I mean, okay, we'll see. We'll see in 2 weeks. I hope you guys will join us for the race as long as you can. We will be there for the entire race.
24 hours. We're going to try to prepare. We're going to have some healthy snacks.
Yes.
So maybe unhealthy snacks.
For sure. But we'll get some. We'll also be putting out some more information about it. You've already reviewed the app.
Check that out.
Yes, definitely.
Check out that shit show.
And then I'm going to be breaking down the different driver categories and vehicle categories so we're all prepared for the Big Le Mans 2024, June 15th and 16th.
It is, if you're located in the US, it starts 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that would be 10 p.m., just kidding, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
And in the video, talk about it too, but in the US, HBO Max.
Yes.
You can watch it.
Or just Max.
Sorry, just Max.
Anyways, we're getting off topic.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And remember to like and subscribe. And we will see you guys
Leave a comment too, okay? This is the comment.
This is the
comment move. Yes. So like, subscribe, comment, and have a wonderful day.
Yes, bye. We'll see you guys here at the Daily Racing Show.
Bye-bye.
Bye.